Thanks, Denny, and welcome back to Investing with Confidence. I am your host, Joshua David. If you're just tuning in, Al was shedding some light on some of those tools and proper rules that you need to make better investing decisions. If you happen to miss 2 tickets for the investing class, call 952-814-4410. You can also register online by going to learnwithota.com. Al, when you talk about those proper rules and those proper tools that the institutions are using, the smart money we call it, these are tools that are also available to the public, but the public doesn't really know about them. They don't
Correct.
really, they're not consoled on them, where to find them and everything. Let's do that today. Let's talk about some of those tools that the smart money is using to trade for income potential.
Yeah, I think first of all, it's important to understand that the people that set the rules really kind of control the outcome of something. And in the markets, the rules are pretty much set by Wall Street, by the smart money, by the big players. And they have those rules set so the odds of them having the potential to be successful are in their favor. And then they use the appropriate tools that are geared towards those rules. And since those are set by Wall Street, and typically Wall Street controls the majority of the trades, which means oftentimes a retail trader, the public is on the other side. We want our students to be able to set their own rules, and which really kind of feed off of Wall Street's, and then the tools to use those so you can take advantage of what Wall Street is doing. And that might sound a little complicated, but it really is making it simple because we don't have to do a lot of the work, a lot of the groundwork. Wall Street has already done that for us. All we have to do is follow what they're doing, using the right tools. Just one example of a rule that is really important, and this should be your number one rule, is risk management. How to know how to control what happens if something goes against what you're doing. And Wall Street does that. If you look at the returns that the major firms have, look at them on a year-to-year basis. You can go back 10, 15, 20 years, and you're going to see consistency there. And part of that consistency is because they know how to manage risk. Well, there are tools that we teach our students that will allow you to have a risk strategy plan in place for whatever you're doing, whatever the asset is that you're trading, whatever the strategy, that should be number one.
That brings a lot more comfort to people as well, because people want to be comfort but have more confidence in their investments.
Oh, what's the name of the show?
Investing with
Investing with
No
confidence.
pun intended there.
That is our goal. And you can't do that unless you really understand how the markets function, how you can take advantage of them, what the opportunities are. And again, I hate to keep repeating rules and tools, but that is so important because those are the two components that will get you to that point where you feel successful. And the problem right now is with a lot of the people that are participating in the market really by just throwing money at whatever they can based on opinions they hear on social media.
Yep.
What they're doing is they're putting more money in the market when it's higher instead of when it's lower. And if you're trading against a pro, will they ever buy high, or do they always have the objective of buying low?
They want to buy low.
They buy low. So if they're buying something at a low price, they have to find somebody willing to sell at a low price. That's what the public does. They sell at a low price even though they know they're supposed to do the opposite. And the same thing is true if an institution, the pros, the smart money, want to sell something, they will sell high, which means they have to find somebody willing to buy high. That's the public. Everyone knows you're supposed to buy low, sell high, but because of the way these markets are structured and the rules and tools are implemented, the public does exactly the opposite. They buy high, they sell low, and that's part of the reason there are emotions. And that's, again, maybe that's rule number 2, control your emotions. You can't do this successfully if you let your emotions dictate your decisions.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about, the core strategy is it gets you away from those emotions, because it's just a rules-based strategy to make those better investing decisions. And it's that timing mechanism. You have to time the market as far as to find those low risk, high reward, high probability entry points. And that's typically at or near a turn in price. So you have to have that risk management strategy as well. That's a great
Right.
rule to have because that way you have more comfort going into investments, knowing what you're getting into rather than just buying and hoping or just guessing. So if you want to learn more about some of those rules and some of those tools, Al teaches investing classes right here at the Academy. We're located in Bloomington, and these are classes where we've taught thousands, just like you, are many strategies, and these are designed to teach you to make better investing decisions. So callers 1 through 10, you're going to receive 2 tickets, one for you and a friend. Call 952-814-4410. When you call in right now, mention the Financial Quick Start Kit. You'll receive that when you attend. That'll help you get started right away. 952-814-4410. So, Al, you need those rules and those proper tools to make those decisions in your accounts. And that's what the smart money is using. They have those rules and tools. But they are also trading and investing in multiple markets, right?
Sure.
The stock market's a phenomenal market for people to use, but it might not be right for everybody.
Right.
What are those other 2 markets that we like to talk about every week, but how to use leverage, but also to trade any time of day?
Well, yeah, and you can look at those as tools that you use to achieve a certain objective. If your goals are short term or short term oriented, will a long term strategy that where part of the rules are to hold on to it for 10, 20, 30 years, is that going to help you with your short term goal? No, it won't. So you have to use something different. That's a different set of tools. And those are short term trading vehicles like the futures market, the foreign exchange market, the options market. Those are tools that you can use and definitely have rules associated with them as to how to use them. Not only how to use them, when to use them, why you use them. And futures and Forex, those are available 24 hours a day. Those markets essentially don't shut down. Futures does for about 15 minutes a day. But during the week, they're open 24 hours a day. So you have a lot of opportunities to trade and invest based on your time frame, your schedule.
Think about that. A lot of people that are listening right now probably work during the day, and some people, we talk to a lot of people, and they say, "Oh, I want to be able to trade and invest, but I just can't. It's hard to do that over my lunch break." That's the
Sure.
stock market. These are open 24 hours a day. Think about that. You have the opportunity to trade and invest at night.
And they can be used for short-term trading. Futures is probably the shortest term. Oftentimes, you're in and out of a futures trade in a day, maybe a couple of days. The Forex can be used short-term and long-term because sometimes, and with the Forex market, that we're talking about the foreign exchange market, where you're looking at the difference in exchange rates between 2 different currencies. Well, sometimes that trend lasts for a long time, so that can be used in your long-term trading too. Options, probably one of the most versatile assets, can be used for short-term, kind of mid-term, and long-term. If you actually do have a portfolio, let's say you're retired or approaching retirement, you have a rather large 401k or 403b account, and you want to make sure that there's, and I guess these are 3 more rules. When you retire, number 1, don't lose what you have. Don't let somebody else end up with that in their portfolio. And number 2 is to grow those accounts, continue growing them so you're not just depleting them as you take money out for your living expenses. And number 3, when you retire, what is gone that you've relied on for maybe 30 or 40 years?
That income from your job is
Income
gone.
from your job. So what are you going to do? What are you going to replace that with to help pay your bills? And those are things, options can be used for all 3 of those. Options can be used for protection. Options can be used to help grow your portfolio. Options can be used to create a stream of cash coming in.
Well, the potential to do that. That's why people love the options market because it has that potential to do it, but you have to learn the skills.
Well, I know, absolutely. And that's where the rules come in.
Yep.
The rules for these tools are specific to them. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is to understand those. One of the problems with what we're seeing now in these markets, Josh, is that a lot of the people that are setting up these accounts and for the first time trading, they're being allowed to trade options. And without really the knowledge, the understanding of how they not only work for you, but how they can work against you, those are the things that you shouldn't do when you're trading or investing something. Never do it in a way where you don't understand why you did what you did, why you're doing it, when you're doing it, and then how to do it properly, along with that risk strategy. Those are all they're different tools that you can use and different time frames, different market conditions, and people have different goals. Not everybody wants to do exactly the same thing in 10
Everybody
or 20
has a
or
different
30 years.
objective.
Right. I think I've used this analysis before. But let's just say that your goal, Josh, is to buy a yacht and sail around the world on that yacht.
Hmm.
My goal is to buy a canoe and sail and just paddle around Lake Harriet.
There you go.
We need different strategies to be able to do that. You need a much greater rate of return to be able to do that than I do. So there's a proper set of tools for you to use. But again, to get the maximum benefit out of those tools, you have to use the rules that are associated with them.
You're right. I mean, one of the great things about our sponsor, Online Trading Academy, is you were talking about the foreign exchange market, and the exchange rate is what you're trading, right?
Right. Mhm.
And our listeners are probably wondering, well, how the heck do I find that? Our sponsor has a platform, which is a tool to utilize to trade and invest, whether you're trading stock, options, futures, forex. So that way you have that right there for you. So you don't have to go searching somewhere to find these. It's all on a platform, and that's where you do that. And that's a great thing about our sponsors. They have the tools for our students. But the beginning part of that is understanding, okay, what are the tools do I need? What do I need these tools? What is my objective, and how do I
Mhm.
get started? And you teach investing classes right here at the academy, and you talk more about some of those tools, some of those rules, but you get into a lot of interesting things: how to buy at wholesale and sell at retail, just like the financial institutions do, not buying high with the hope to selling higher, like you were talking about earlier, but also how to manage that risk and navigate these volatile markets. So I want to invite everyone to an investing class that Al teaches right here at the Academy to learn more about the rules and more about those tools. So callers 1 through 10, you're going to receive 2 tickets when you call in. You're also going to receive the financial toolkit. There's a couple topics in there. There's investing time horizons and also the cost of procrastination. What is that really costing you? Callers 1 through 10, one for you and one for a friend. Call 952 814 4410. That's 952 814 4410. You can also register by going online at learnwithota.com. Now, we have two buckets in our life. We have our income bucket and our wealth bucket, basically during our working years and during those retirement years. We call it the golden years.
Mhm.
Coming up next, I want to talk about that wealth bucket, the retirement side of things. That way our listeners can understand, what are those rules, what are those tools that I need for my objective. Once again, for 2 tickets, call 952 814 4410. This is Josh and Al, Investing with Confidence. We will be right back.